Today we are visiting Bearizona Wildlife Park in Williams, Arizona. The cost of admission includes the self-guided drive-through tour, the walk-through tour, and various shows. Parking for the walk-through portion is included with your price of admission. You can purchase tickets in advance or at the window. There are several different price points, including variances such as weekday senior ticket, weekday adult ticket, weekday child, and then weekend senior, weekend adult, weekend child. The senior age starts at 62 plus. The adult is age 13 to 61, and the child is age 4 to 12. Children 3 and under are free. When you arrive at Bearizona, you will be able to purchase tickets at the entrance gate. At that time, you will also be given directions about how to drive through the park safely, including locking your doors, closing your windows, and I would also suggest adding the window lock to your windows so that anybody in the car doesn't accidentally open the windows. After you purchase your ticket and you are driving into the park, you will have an option to go to the left or to the right. If you go towards the left, that will take you to the parking lot. The parking lot will lead you to where you would use the walking portion of the tour. This will also give you access to the restrooms. You are allowed to drive through the park as often as you like, as long as you do not drive out of the park. You can go to the walking portion and the driving portion in whichever order you prefer. On this visit, we did opt to go to the walking portion first to use the restrooms. Then we got back in the car and did the drive-through portion. There is a speed limit. I believe it's about 20 miles an hour, but because you can drive through as often as you like, you can see everything within that speed limit. So you can go a little bit slower if somebody isn't behind you, but if people are behind you, then you want to keep to the speed limit to be courteous. As you drive into the park, you will notice that there are gates between each section. So the gates are typically open, and there are cattle guards in the road so the animals don't cross over. When you first enter, it is recommended to get some extra maps. That way the people in the car with you can follow along. One of the first exhibits you'll come to is the Rocky Mountain goats. And so keep your eyes open. You will want to look around both sides of the road to see the Rocky Mountain goats. Again, this is a wildlife park, and the animals are not trained to go up to the car. So keep your eyes and ears open. Depending on the time of day and the time of year, the animals will be more active. We have visited the during May, so closer to the summer. This visit was in early February, late January, so it was colder and the animals were less active, but we did still see bears, wolves, bison, reindeer, and the Rocky Mountain sheep. We did see at least one animal in each area, but keep your eyes open so you can, look for the animals. Some are camouflaged and laying down and relaxing. I did edit out the audio from the original video because we had the radio on and we were talking. So even if the radio is down really low, that is copyrighted material, so it is not allowed to be used on general broadcast and YouTube videos. Keep in mind that this is a wildlife park. The animals will wander about how they wish. They aren't trained to show up to the car. You are not allowed to feed the animals or open the windows. So the animals are free roaming within each segment. The second animal that you would see or have opportunity to see is reindeer. And then as you're driving through, you will see the Coues deer. It's spelled C-O-U-E-S, Coues deer, and the mule deer. And then along the road, you're also going to see an American burro, Alaskan tundra wolves, Arctic wolves, a junior black bear. I am recording a voiceover to add to the video, so the alignment for the viewing of the animals may not be perfect, but feel free to rewind and rewatch. Here we see the timber wolves. There was one of the wolves being cared for in the care center, so the other wolves you'll see are pacing around that building, checking on their pack mate. Here is another view of the timber wolves. They are pacing the edge of the fencing where their pack mate is being cared for. depending on the time of year that you visit. As we were there late January, early February, most of the bears were in the little cave-like dens that are built around the viewing area. Some were out and wandering around, but not as active as they have been when we visited in May. If you see rock-like structures that look like they have like a hole in them and it is winter, the bears may be resting in that little cave-like structure. It looks like it's kind of fake rocks with a built-in cave. So some of the bears were out and about and some were in those little caves. Some of the amenities available at Fort Bearizona, which is the walking portion, there is a restaurant and grill. Canyonlands Restaurant is a 6,000 square foot restaurant. It is a themed restaurant that features soaring canyon walls and ancient ruins. So be sure and check it out, even if you are not eating. It's pretty open air, so then you can, meaning it's an indoor restaurant, but you can walk into the restaurant and look around and not have to order any food. There is also a bar there at the restaurant. And then at the other side of the park, there is the Bearizona Grill, which it states features stadium-style favorites. I believe I did see hot dogs, popcorn, stuff like that. The maps of Bearizona are also available on their website. The walkthrough map and the drive-through map are each available for download. You can also get a paper copy of the map and the brochure when you arrive at the entrance and ticket booth. One thing to note is that Bearizona is privately owned and receives no tax dollars. So any money, excuse me, that you spend at the park does go back into the care and conservation of the animals. As you are driving through the park, you will notice there is a main path, and then there are some loop paths that go off of the main path, and that is to give you a better opportunity to kind of take a second pass and a second look at the animals in that area. But again, you are free to drive through the park as many times as you wish up to closing time, as long as you do not exit through the exit of the park. You will notice when you drive in, it will show you a sign, go to the left for the walking portion, go to the right for the driving portion. So as you loop around and finish the driving portion, you could stop at the walking portion or continue on around, and you will pass the exit on the right, continue on to the left, and then drive through the park again. In the brochure that you will pick up at the ticket window upon entry, it does recommend that visitors can enjoy the park at their own pace and to allow approximately 2 hours for the entire Bearizona adventure. And you are welcome to stay longer. I will add there is a bar and a restaurant on site, so it's nice to take a break after the driving portion, have a meal, have a refreshment, and then continue through the walking portion of the park. Some additional information from the brochure. Do your bears hibernate in the winter? And they do say that most of our bears remain active throughout the winter and are easily viewed. Of course, the rest of our animals remain active and look magnificent in the winter months. Now, as you can see from our video here, there is some snow on the ground, but it isn't so thick that you need any special chains or anything. At this time, it was sort of melting. Again, this was early February, late January. I believe it was actually the last day of January, and this is 2025. So it does create a beautiful scene and a nice contrast with some of the animals. The current brochure, and again, we visited early in 2025, does indicate that the park is open year-round, 7 days a week, but that it is closed on Christmas Day. It does open June through July, 8 a.m., with the last admittance at 6 p.m., and then the park closes at 7:30 p.m. Most months are actually, the weather is moderate here. with the average high temperature in July and August being around 80 degrees, and December through January, the average high temperature being 48 degrees, and that would be Fahrenheit. The Canyonlands restaurant does also have the menu online. Some examples are items such as classic mac and cheese, burgers, appetizers. The appetizers are things similar to Bavarian pretzel, chili fries, boneless wings. You can get burgers such as a cheeseburger, bacon burger, smokehouse burger, and it does include information that plant-based vegetarian patty or gluten-free bun are available. You can get something like a loaded baked potato, and the cola products are Pepsi products. They do offer sandwiches, soups, and salads, as well as a kid combo. The kid combo will come with one side and a fountain drink, and some of the options are mac and cheese, grilled cheese, cheeseburger, grilled chicken sandwich, and chicken strips. Again, that menu is available online so you can plan your trip. Of the tour is called Fort Bearizona. You can take a leisurely stroll through the forest along the winding paved walkways to get an up-close look at the antics of more critters. This is information from the brochure. There is also a free park app that can be useful while you are in the park. There are also animal encounters that will pop up during your visit. I am not sure if there is a set schedule for different animal encounters, but there is a schedule for the animal show. The current time for that is 11:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m., weather permitting. And it is teaching a little bit more about each animal ambassador, and it also could be where you could potentially be a part of the show. If you need assistance, there are wheelchairs available upon request. There is a limited number available. And as you walk into the park, I'm not 100% sure if the wheelchairs are right there at the gate or not. You could potentially call ahead and ask about that availability. There are also keeper chats, and this says that you can meet the animal caretakers along the Fort Bearizona Trail. Again, that's in the walking portion, and you will be able to get up close to a few animal residents and learn some interesting facts from the keepers. Let's see. Also, I really enjoyed the otter enclosure. I have that as a separate video. The otters are able to be fed. I believe the gift shop said that the feeding was at 1 or 1:30. So ask about that in the gift shop. I believe it was the gift shop that would give you the fish, and then you go to the otter enclosure, which is right outside of the gift shop, and then you can feed the otters. But check with the gift shop on the current information and policy with that. There are additional opportunities at the park. One of the items is a VIP add-on. Go backstage and meet some of the animal ambassadors and their friendly keepers. This up-close experience will fill your camera roll as well as your heart. This information is available online with pricing, availability. It says that the tour will last approximately 90 minutes, so check the website for more information on that if you wanted to add on to your experience at Bearizona. There are restrooms and refreshment stations throughout the walking portion. The restrooms are well stocked and clean. And the refreshments were, I did see things like cold beverages as well as hot coffee. There is also a restaurant on site and a very well stocked gift shop. On another audio clip, I did say that the money goes to the care and conservation of the animals. However, the conservation portion is to educate visitors about conservation. There is also an online shop if you're interested in looking for some mementos or souvenirs from Bearizona. shop.bearizona.com, and I will include that link below. As you are riding through the drive-through portion of the exhibit, you will be able to see animals to the left and to the right as you are driving through. So keep your eyes open and be sure to peek into the animal dens as well. You will see some rock type buildings or structures, and inside of those there are little caves that the bears will be resting in. So be sure to look on both sides of the road as you're driving through. This way you'll be sure to get the best opportunity for viewing the animals. The speed limit in the park is about 20 miles per hour, which seems very slow, but when you're riding through and you spot an animal, it feels like you're going really fast. I did locate additional information on the animal encounters. That information is on the Bearizona website, and it is on the section Animal Encounters. Currently, the website is including information for Bear Chat, BZ Wild Show, otter feeding, another BZ Wild Show, and then otter feeding. So it looks like at the current time, early 2025, there are 2 shows for the BZ Wild Show and 2 opportunities for otter feeding. Then also you will see on the website where you can look and see photos of the animals, and that includes a lizard, a bird of some sort, it looks like a vulture, snake, and a porcupine. So if you're interested in seeing more photos about the animals, you can check that website. When we were at Bearizona, we also saw a beaver that was actively collecting branches and brush to do what beavers do and build a little dam. There is a pond in the walking portion of the park where you will be able to see that beaver. We also saw a javelina. We saw the otters in the otter pond, in the otter exhibit, and we also saw the raccoon, which looked super cute, walking through the snow, as well as more bears. There is a bear enclosure that you can walk on either side and view the bears from almost a 180-degree view as you're walking through the park and walking around that exhibit. There's also an area where you can go into a little cave and look into the bear's den. Inside the den, we saw some bear scat, some bedding, and then the backside of the bear, because the bear was in the den pointing his head out towards the exhibit. So that was pretty interesting. So be sure and take a walk around the whole park in the walking portion. You can also visit the gift shop, which is very well stocked, and you will be able to get some pretty cool souvenirs. Some of the animals that you will have an opportunity to see when you are going through the walking portion: the jaguar, which we definitely got a great view of the jaguar. There is a couple windows that there were kind of dirty and scratched up when we were there, but you could see the jaguars laying close to the windows, sunning themselves. You can also see the elk. You can see otters swimming in an area called Otter Mountain. And then there's also an area where you will see the bobcat, grizzly bear, and a grizzly cave and a grizzly training area. You'll see a javelina. There's a barnyard area which was closed. I believe that is typically a petting zoo type of situation. And then there's an area with a frog pond, an Arctic fox, badger, and then the animal rescue area. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have an opportunity to visit Bearizona, but if you do not, I hope this video has provided you a preview and an experience of Bearizona Wildlife Park.